Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Keswick Ripple Podcast. My name is Jim Lang. I'm the assistant to the president and CEO here at America's Keswick. And each week we want to bring you a testimony that we hope encourages your heart and life. One of the most dynamic parts of our program is that when a man or woman comes into one of our programs and is radically changed by the gospel of Jesus Christ, they are then sent back out to their families, their churches, and their communities, and God uses them in a mighty way. And so today I want to introduce you to Stephen. Stephen is a graduate of the Colony of Mercy. He's currently in our discipleship program. So Stephen, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and just willing to share your story. So why don't you start out kind of telling everyone, what life was like before coming to the Colony?
Right before, it was pretty bad, Jim. My drinking was completely unmanageable. I couldn't even drink successful anymore. I was sick. It was making me sick, very sick. So I could drink and live normally, my normal, for a few days, and then I would be sick for a few days, which left me unable to keep anything in my stomach, even little sips of water. So I was completely dehydrated, dry heaving. My muscles would cramp to the point that I couldn't move. My ribs would even cramp up, and I had a hard time breathing. I spent hours, days in bed, cold sweats, shaking, praying, crying out to God, just so I could feel a little bit better and start drinking again. It was pretty insane.
Yeah. So how did you hear about the Colony, and then what kind of finally was the breaking point of I need some help?
Because I had come through the Colony, I heard about the Colony of Mercy in 1999 was my first time through the Colony, 22 years ago, and I had also come through a few other times throughout those years, and I just didn't think that they would really let me back. I didn't think God would give me another chance. But what really spun me around was the vision of my father coming to my apartment to look for me because I hadn't answered the phone in a few days, and finding me dead on the bathroom floor. And that vision just stayed with me, and I couldn't let that happen. Like, God, please don't let me die like this. So that's really what pushed me to give Terry a call and say,
Sure.
help.
So you mentioned that you've been through the program before.
Yes.
So what are some of the differences this time going through the program than the previous times?
Well, I've changed a lot. I was not yet 30 years old when I came through the first time, and I had a lot of big ideas of the way I thought my life should look and what I wanted to accomplish, ambitions and things like that. And I think this time coming through, it was easier to swallow the idea and understand that my way just doesn't work, and that the plan that God has for me really is a better plan, and it really is. But I don't know. I think God used my whole life to shape me, not only for His purpose, but to bring me to the end of myself finally, to where I am completely surrendered. At least in the big picture, I still take my will back, as we all do sometimes. But to keep short accounts and to keep chasing after what His plan is for my life.
So I've had an opportunity to kind of watch you grow from the time you got here till now, and it's been amazing to see God change your heart and chose to stay for discipleship. So what is the main thing that God's really kind of been pressing on your heart this time around during your time here?
I think the idea and the knowing, the understanding that only He can satisfy this hole in me, this yearning, this longing to accomplish, to experience all the things that this world has to offer, ultimately leaves you just as dissatisfied as then when you started all your efforts. All my goals just came to nothing, and that he's faithful. No matter what my past mistakes have been, that all that is being used, and has shaped me to who I am, so that I can step into His will, and now have purpose and direction for my life, and to be satisfied with where I am, and to be content with life, and allow Him to set things in front of me that are goals to accomplish, and not just follow my own wrong thinking.
So at the beginning, you were kind of describing what your life looked like before coming to the program, and I sitting here, I can identify with you in that just desperate state, and that just unbelievably broken state. And so, more than likely, there might be someone watching out there that's there or on their way to that mindset and that state. So what would you say to them today?
There is a better way, that there is hope, that you don't have to stay where you're at. Even if you think that you couldn't. I was completely convinced that I could not stop drinking. I couldn't even conceive of the idea of it. And yet once I reached out to God and said, God, just whatever you can do, have mercy on me. Just do whatever you can. And even if it was just that first phone call to Terry, and she said I had to be 10 days clean coming in. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But I was able to do it, and it wasn't because of me. God already began working to change my heart and change my mind, that it was possible, and He carried me through. And 10 days turned into 10 weeks, and here I am almost, 4 months later.
Stephen, thank you for taking a little time to share your story. We hope that Stephen's testimony was an encouragement to your heart and life. Please be sure to tune in each week to either the Ripple podcast or the Recovery podcast, and we hope to see you next week. Have a great day.